Hi everybody, I'm Charlene Shirk and welcome to Digital Champions. We have got Jennifer Thompson joining us today with Webspark Media. Jennifer, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
So tell us about your company, and I know you've worked with some big names and we're going to get to that in just a second, but tell us a little bit about your company and how you pulled this all together.
Sure. Webspark Media has been in existence since 2015, so we've been around almost 7 years. And our focus is really on helping small to medium-sized businesses move the needle using digital marketing. We can do traditional marketing as well, but our focus really is digital marketing. So we help them do things like Facebook ads, Google ads, automation, follow-up systems, etc. And we do this in a very meaningful way, budget-friendly way, so that they can actually experience better ROI on their ad spend and with a real high attention to detail. So that's really our focus, is really helping these small businesses with a lot of not just marketing, but internal systems as well that goes along hand in hand with marketing. For example, if you don't have a good process for answering the phone or doing sales, we actually help you with that as well, even though it's outside the realm of marketing, so that we can all be more successful together.
Kind of a little bit of a holistic approach, because especially when they're a small to medium business, sometimes they're just still they don't have all the wheels on yet, really, to run smoothly. And you've had such great experience with big companies. Go ahead and name drop a little bit some of those major corporations that you've worked with before.
Sure. So in my career, I've worked with companies such as EA Games, Gree Games, Chase Bank, Domino's Pizza, Auto Trader, National Geographic. I could go on and on. I spent a long part of my career actually exclusively dealing with large agency clients, which are Fortune 500 companies and larger, helping them with their digital campaigns. So I spent a lot of time doing strategy and build outs and all kinds of crazy stuff. And in working with those large companies, I gained a wealth of knowledge that I now can bring to the table for these smaller businesses.
And what is the biggest pain point that you hear kind of over and over again when clients come to you?
These leads suck. I've worked with 1,000 marketing companies. It never works. I hate you. that's pretty much the gist of it. But that's kind of where we tailored our process to help them with their internal systems. Because if your internal systems don't work properly, you can spend all the money in the world on marketing, but if you're not prepared for the influx of leads and the amount of work it takes to convert them, you're going to feel like it sucks, it's a bad experience, and these leads are terrible. And it's simply because the amount of touches, as we call them, you have to convert a local client. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 pieces of contact to get somebody to do what you want. So most small businesses do not have the bandwidth to handle that, which is why we've added a call center to our offering as well, so we can actually help them do that. And then they really just take the appointments and make the sale.
Yeah, that's feeding the pipeline. It's massaging the customer until the point where they're ready to take in action. Exactly. And that takes time. And sometimes, time is frustrating when you're looking at the bottom line there. With what digital marketing is changing, it changes on a dime all the time. But so if I were only to look ahead 2 years, what would you say that folks should be looking out for, be aware of, or they're going to be left behind?
Really, it's just being an early adopter. Lots of people get stuck in a rut of what they've always done. And what you've always done could be digital, it could be traditional, it could be anything, but you have to be open to moving with the market and not get too married to one platform or another. You really need to understand that marketing has nothing to do really with where you're marketing. It's about how you're marketing. So at times postcards work better, and other times Facebook ads work better. TikTok is an up and comer and works spectacularly for a lot of businesses. And you have to be willing to kind of be a little bit flexible with what you think is going to work for your business, and not just be so married to what you've always done, because that isn't necessarily what's going to work best for you.
And it certainly helps to have someone, an experienced voice like yours, because sometimes a lot of stuff comes and you're like, no, that's not for you. That's not going to work for you. You need to make sure that you're leading them down the path that they should be investing in to get that ROI.
Absolutely. And that's a tough conversation a lot of the time, because people, if they've mailed out mailers for the last 20 years and it's worked okay, they have a hard time adopting things that are a little foreign to them and a little uncomfortable. And so a big part of my job is a lot of that hand holding and making people feel more comfortable with things that they necessarily aren't familiar with. And they think, for example, I don't use Facebook, so other people my age must not use Facebook, when in fact, the largest group of Facebook users is an older generation. And so I know these details, and I can really help them go down the path of adoption without being too uncomfortable.
And Jennifer, before we let you go, you have to tell us the name of your Webspark Media mascot who has walked back and forth behind you throughout our interview.
That is Lucy. So a little quick story about that, and I won't take up a lot of time. But Webspark Media is actually from two rescue animals I had, a dog named Webster and a dog named Sparkle. So Webspark. I'm huge into animal rescue. And so a big part of my life and something my company does is we donate money to help with local animal rescues. And so the little girl you saw running around behind me is one of my rescues. Her name is Lucy.
Jennifer, I think that was my favorite question and answer of the entire day. Thank you so much for that information. That's Jennifer Thompson from Webspark Media. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Charlene. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too. Well, thank you so much for joining us on dailyadbrief.com today. If you have any questions, just click on there and you can see Lucy walking back and forth for you a little bit. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm Charlene Shirk, and we'll see you next time.